Hey guys, hope your day's going well. Well, fellas, today I started back on these GTP heads, and I'm about 4 hours in, and this is what I've gotten done. I'm going to show you why. It doesn't look like much, does it, guys? Until you see exactly what you're looking at. So I'm going to show you guys. Just cutting all this back right here, these combustion chambers, all this in here. There's just no fast way of doing this, fellas, compared to this. And I'm going to show you exactly why that is and why this is so important I do this. These are LS valves, and they may be going in here, even though I have to do a lot of insert work to make the valves fit, because these are smaller, so I might have to put new guides in. But I want to show you the difference here, fellas, in case you can't see it. Around where the spark plug was right here, you can only tell how much I picked up by laying this back and blending all this in here. You can fit this screwdriver tip halfway where the plug comes in. That's how much. Look at this, fellas. There's nothing there. It's all free flowing air, and the transfer of that air can make in this combustion chamber is crucial. This is where I start at, guys. This is why it takes so long. I don't just pour heads, they get worked. And I don't know if your father ever told you, but my father did. Something got on my nerves a little bit, but he was right. He said, you do as I say, not as I do. Hate to tell you guys, that applies to what I'm doing here. The seats aren't taped off because I don't care what I'm doing here. This is my own thing. So don't try to copycat this, guys, if you're just learning how to do this, because all you're going to do is get yourself into trouble, okay? I keep telling you that in all my videos. So I don't want somebody seeing this and then having it be where they try to imitate this stuff, because this is a game plan that I have in my head. I know what I'm in for with machine work. I know what the cost is, and well, I think I know what the cost is. It changes every week, so I have a rough idea. I hope, regardless of what it is, it's getting done, because this stuff has to be done to make these work how I want them to work. But guys, I figured I'd do this video because I tell you guys, I show little segments and stuff. I really wish I could do a whole segment where I'm doing this and just showing you grinding and all the ins and outs of all of it. Isn't it just working on the heads that take time? Believe it or not, fellas, just change them back and forth with your tools, going from this to this to the smaller bits and everything else. I have to go through these, and then your other cutters, back and forth, even with the paper like this around these areas. There's just no way to make any time on this stuff. So therefore, people gotta understand what they're in for when they do this kind of work. And in the dust. But anyway, guys, I wanted to show you this. And I will do this real quick. I don't have a GoPro or anything yet, so I'm still doing all these videos off my phone, which is a real hassle. I have to worry about running out of time and everything. So I hope you guys understand that. So I do small segments so far. But, excuse me, guys. No mask here. I don't believe in them, but they always said iron is good for you. I don't know about breathing it in, but I have a lot of it. So, but anyway, what I wanted to show you, fellas, I don't know if the camera shows this or not. I keep pointing this stuff out, but these plug bosses stick way out, and it's not just that, they pinch off so bad. Right around the valve right here, they even machined it where the valve has clearance, but that air still can't move around that valve, even though it's a smaller valve that goes in here. And as far as, like I keep telling, these things have so much going on for detonation, the way the air has to move around these here. The machine rigs are terrible. I've seen where guys get decent flow out of these heads, but if they're not doing all this combustion chamber work, I can only imagine what they're leaving on the tables if they really want to go buy that. Like I said, you know my theories on that. But I wanted to point this out, fellas, because, like I said, if you think you're just going to get in here in a couple hours, that's not happening. Not to do what I'm doing here. But I will do this real quick. Show you. This ball right here works really well as far as almost keeping the contour. Let me try to stand this up. I'm just going to run this on something that shows up on camera, hopefully, so you guys can see what I'm doing here. This actually stays and helps mill the machining process down right here, and actually contours to the chamber. I can go up over the plug gallery with it. I can go back over across here. This is perfect for this, fellas. So I'm doing basically 3 steps at a time with this ball. And it's also really good to get a whiff of this rust coming off. I'm kidding, of course. There's a machine rig right here. I always cut that back. And what I did want to tell you guys is I did do this here. I hate to backtrack myself, fellas, but I get forgetting all the time. I widened the chamber. This chamber has been widened right here and swept back. It's angled. I don't know if you can tell. I angled this out, and it's really cut back under the exhaust valve. Compared to this, I don't know if you can see the stock. Let me grind this off a little bit so you can see. Just give you an idea. I don't know if you can see that or not, how much that would be as far as the width goes. But if you see right here to that ridge, it goes to about the middle of the screwdriver point right here, to the width of that screwdriver. I hate to do things this way, guys, but this camera just don't want to pick up, and I want you guys to be able to see what I'm doing. Half the screwdriver to the outside of the combustion chamber, right? I'm showing you this a couple times. I repeat myself a couple times, guys, on purpose, because I've watched things and I had to re-watch them over and over to understand what the guy was talking about. Once in a while I lose track and I repeat myself, but sometimes I do it intentionally. This is one of them cases, guys. So anyway, I don't know how crucial this shows up on this camera here. I'm hoping you guys can see, because I don't want it to be where you're like, I don't see any difference, because I'd make this insignificant when I'm showing you guys. But this is all leveled back. I cut this down even, guys, where the spark plug comes in. So that's right to here, from where that comes in to right there. So that's right where it comes in. You're talking about probably almost a little bit more than the width of this valve I'm holding up here. About like that. So to that, fellas. Two of them. It comes all the way up to here from where I was just showing you. So you're talking, that ball comes all the way up to here, right? To half. So, like I said, I'm not worried about flow numbers, but I worry about how the air is moving. And that's a lot of air that can travel without restriction just by cutting this back. And you'll talk to one fella, he'll say, I have GT40 heads, I have GTP heads, and the car run 13s. You'll talk to another guy, he's going 11s. This is what it's about. Combinations come into play too. There's no magic wands. When one guy's out there running 11s or 10s, there's a reason for it. And the reason for it is being, he didn't get lucky. He don't have a magical engine. He don't have a magic wand. That's why when these guys say they've been 9s or 8s or whatever it's been, they can tell something, some people, and try to fool them. I always know that the motor is either stroked, has compression in it. There's always a reason it's going to run like that, guys. Don't let somebody pull the wool over your eyes. Some guys have big cubic inches, but if they do, it's their business. But I'm just saying this on a rule of thumb, as far as horsepower. Like there always these guys that grudge race and they say we sit the same. They don't sit the same. If they sat the same, and I get in arguments even with my son over this. If we sit the same, they would run the same. One car is not going to be a 9-second car, and the other one's going to be an 8-second car with the same thing, because they would run the same. There's not a magic engine out there that's going to outperform the other one. Sure, you might have one, you might put two engines together with the same P head. We'll take it like this, a same P head stock, completely stock. Now the only difference is going to be with that is one machining process is going to be better in that head. So therefore one's going to run better than the other one. If the same guy does it, has the same timing in it, the camshaft set up the same, and all that. Because I mean, you've heard people say many, many times, hey, I have an engine, it was a freak. It was a freak because of a couple of reasons. It was either put together with a little extra attention, or it happened to get the right parts, just happened to fall in where the castings fell in, where the seats were better on the valve job, and it's mostly in the heads. When you have an engine that runs extremely well, this is usually where it's at. Like I said, it's not because somebody has a magic wand. That's why I bring it to your attention. But anyway, guys, if you're interested, I have a used spark plug for sale. They're only driven in the car to church on Sundays. So if you're interested, I'll sell these really cheap. That's what came out of this, fellas. That's how long they've been sitting. But anyway, I just thought I'd run this by you. I'm always showing you guys this and that. I point things out when I can. I really want to do a video and go into more detail about when I do stuff. But I'm filming off my phone right now. And there's really no way of edit editing this and doing the things that really need to be done to make this look where I'm not making you guys watch a bunch of stuff that you don't need to see, as far as like changing the tools back and forth. I want it to be where you can watch it and be where you learn something, and not be waiting around for a bunch of saw blades to be changed and things I've been doing. So I'm just letting you know, guys, I plan on making these better. It's just a matter of when and how, because I'm actually trying to find out the best way to do this as far as cameras and all that stuff. But I don't want to bore you with all this either. I'm just letting you know what I'm up to and why I only do small segments like this. I really like to have the camera where it would film me doing this from start to finish. And if you guys just wanted to watch it, it'd be there to watch. If you didn't want to watch it, you could skim through it. You could get the highlights on it. That's what I'd like to do, guys. I just figured I'd tell you about it, because this is what's been on my mind. I feel like I'm cutting you guys short all the time, just putting little things out here and there. But it's hard to remember everything when I do these. But I did show these heads the other night, and I'll just run them by you again a little bit, because what I wanted to show you is that the exhaust port, I kind of showed these the other night. These are raised a lot, and I wish I had the gasket up here. I would show you how much. But when I do stuff, guys, I'll do things not even worried about what size gasket fixes. I do it according to how I need to do it, where I think it's going to work as far as raising the roof and stuff. This is the way I do stuff. If I have to, I'll make a gasket for this. If I have to, I'll drill the header to make it fit these heads. That's why I don't want you guys imitating stuff that I'm doing that are starting out, because you'll get yourself into a mess. I want to explain this to you, because I don't want to see you take your heads and try to imitate and say, oh, that looked neat. I've been there. I was a young guy one time. It's hard to believe, but I was. And the intake side, I don't remember what gasket I used, but I have a lot more to do with these. But as you can see right over now, if I can get it in the camera where you can see, I just don't open them up. I round everything in, fellas. When I'm finished with this, these are going to be rounded in here. They're going to be rounded in here. And anywhere you feel like something, like an edge sticking up or anything, you always take care of that first. These runners right here, believe it or not, fellas, that's the least of my worries, how big these are. You guys really want to learn how to do heads. You can listen to me or not listen to me. This is where you start. And you'll have some guys say, he's crazy. That's why we have a 200 runner. That's why you use a 220 runner. I put 240 runners on my car. I picked up 30 horsepower. Yeah. Tell some kid that has a 9-to-1 compression engine. Don't tell somebody that has a stock engine, and then you're giving them a big open chamber head to put on it and making it a mutt. You do that for cubic inches, that's when you'll pick up with a head that has that kind of runner. And you need the compression there. It depends where you're turning the engine at. You can't read these magazines, fellas, and look something up on YouTube and say, hey, I'm going to get that same head that guy's got. Wow, that thing flowed 400 CFMs. You're going to bite the bullet if you do. You have to go by combinations. You have to go by what works on that engine. The problem with 302 is people try to make them feed more than they're able to feed, number one. How many guys do you know? The first thing they do is go grab a 950 or a 1050 Dominator and a big Parker or the biggest Victor intake they could find. And you get down there and you see the car run. If that engine isn't built for that combination, it's not going to do it any good. It's going to actually hurt it. And this is why I'm trying to stop guys from making these mistakes. Like I keep telling you guys, I've watched these other guys on the internet they have wallets this thick. They're cars that run fast. They should run fast because they have all the money it takes them. I'm going to tell you, when something runs good and it's got a lot of money in it and it has everything it should have in it, why is that impressive? Why is it impressive when something runs the way that it should? Because we see so many cars run badly. You see cars run that don't run like they should for what they have done. 50% of the cars out there don't come nowhere near what they're supposed to run. I hate to hurt people's egos and feelings. That's the truth. That's just how it is. Every car I used to walk around down the track, I'd walk over to it if it ran even decent, and I just walk up to it most of the time and say, "Well, that thing's got 5 tenths left in it. I wonder why it don't. Has it got the wrong converter in it? Does he have the wrong timing on it? Has he got the cam retarded? Does it have a big open chamber head with low compression? Did he just throw these heads on an engine that don't have enough cubic inches for it?" That's how it is most of the times. I like it when I'm surprised and I say, "Wow, that thing really runs good. When he has done to that?" That's what I like, guys. I like hearing things run that should run how they do, how they should run. And it's hard to find that a lot of times. It's just a situation to you want to pay attention to. But anyway, guys, I thought I'd run this by you a little bit. I wish I could go in a lot more detail and a lot more. That's why I keep telling you guys, if you have any questions, just leave me a comment. I'll gladly answer any question you have. If I know the answer, and listen, guys, even me or anybody that sounds like they know for sure, don't be afraid to take it a step further. Find out that the guy knows what he's talking about, especially for your combination. Don't just listen to me. Don't just listen to Joe Smo or any of these big guys that really know what they're doing, because the guys that know what they're doing have a lot of money. They're not running a stock-headed 302. I had a guy that told me not to buy a spacer because it wouldn't even help me out. He had one of the fastest shops around, and he goes, "Why do you want that spacer for?" He had it on his shelf. I said, "I like to buy that spacer." He goes, that ain't going to help you out." And I thought, to help my big block out, why isn't it going to help a 302? Because I knew it would make more torque. Put that spacer on. Well, I put my own spacer on, and I believe the car went 3 tenths faster with a 4-hole spacer. 3 tenths. You figure that up, that can actually be 3 car lengths of a difference, depending on a rule of thumb. I'm just saying, guys. Sometimes 3 tenths is it doesn't work out that way, but I'm old school. That's how we figured things back in the day. But anyway, guys, I'm rambling. I try at least give you some information when I do this. I hope it is enough worthwhile to you to watch me, because this is what I want it to be. I want it to be where you learn, and I want it to be where it is educational for somebody. Like I said, I'm after the younger guys that don't really have a clue. I used to hate it when I asked people questions and they wouldn't answer me when I was young. I hate it now. People ignore this old guy. But anyway, guys, listen, I appreciate you. Thank you again for watching this. And if there's anything, like I keep telling you, if you need to see something different, some Chevrolet stuff, Pontiac stuff, I do know about these other engines. It's mostly the stuff here because this is what we run, it's what we have. I do know about Mopars a little bit, somewhat, Cadillacs, which is a rarity. But I know some of the performance secrets to a lot of engines. So if you need to know something, don't be afraid to ask it. I'm here to help. If I don't know, I'm going to tell you. I don't know, but I'll tell you what, there's a chance. I have a friend that knows it. I have Mopar buddies, a lot of Chevy buddies, and I have a lot of younger guys that are up on today's stuff where I'm not. They're smart. They're smarter than me, I'll tell you that. So anyway, guys, have a good night, and I'll talk to you later.